This headline is loud, but the story beneath it is far more complex and far more serious here. One decision. All 50 US states affected, and it all begins with Minnesota. You're watching Times XP. My name is Atri, and here's what really happened. The Donald Trump administration has announced a nationwide freeze on childcare funding. Yes, nationwide. Money meant for working parents, for daycare centers, for low-income families, they all are on hold now. Why? Because Washington says that it needs to review the entire system. The trigger point? Minnesota. Federal officials point to multiple alleged fraud cases that are linked to daycare centers in the state. The claim is that a huge sum of taxpayers' money, it may have been misused through false billing, fake enrollments, and inflated claims. Important, let's pause here for a second. These are allegations under investigation. No final court verdict has been there yet, and no blanket guilt. It is assigned by the law. But the scale of suspicion, it has shaken the entire US. Let me tell you, what does the White House do after that? It hits the brake, and that too really hard. The administration orders a temporary freeze on money from the Child Care and Development Funds, CCDF. This is federal money that flows to every single state to support child care here, and now it has completely stopped. That's right, all 50 states are pulled into this whole mess, even states with no fraud cases. Now, is that fair? Nobody knows. Because federal officials say that the system itself needs checking. Every state must now submit extra verification, provide new administrative documents, prove where the money is actually going, and prove it again. No paperwork, no money. But Minnesota faces special heat here. Officials say Minnesota will be under heightened scrutiny because of repeated fraud investigations, patterns seen across multiple providers, and concerns about oversight failures. Basically, in simple words, Washington does not trust the controls anymore. Now zoom out. Why does this matter? Because childcare funding is not abstract money, right? It pays for teachers' salaries, meals for children, safe spaces for working kids' parents. When funds freeze, centers struggle, public panics, and state scrambles. And you know what? Then comes the political storm here. Supporters of the move say that stop the fraud first, protect taxpayers. Critics argue that you are punishing families for alleged crimes. And some warn that this could actually fuel tensions if allegations are framed carelessly or without legal conclusions. Well, this is now more than funding issue now. It's about oversight versus access. It's about enforcement versus disruption, and how governments respond when trust breaks down. Right now, the freeze is temporary, but temporary freezes have real consequences here. The review is ongoing, the paperwork race has begun, and the states are lining up to provide compliance. One state triggered it, 50 states are feeling it, and for millions of families, the question, very simple. How long will the money stay frozen? Well, to know that, the story has to find another angles.